This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
You see, Hochul, talk about somebody who can't keep it together, the governor of New York State. Oh, boy, what an amateur. Thanks a lot, Andrew. That's his fault. That is his fault. He picked her on purpose because she was a nobody and would pose no threat to him politically. And now look at her, and now look at him. So that was a dumb move, number one. And also kind of an insult to everybody in the state, right? You don't pick a nitwit like that who couldn't even manage to get reelected to the House of Representatives, right? She was a one-term member of Congress from upstate New York. You know how hard it is to not get reelected? I mean, what the hell is your problem? And, forgive me, she also was the county clerk of Erie County, Buffalo County, Delaware, whatever the hell county was up there that she lived in. One of those big, rural, nowhere counties in way upstate New York. She was the county clerk and a one-term member of Congress. And now she's the governor, and she's playing with real bullets, and I don't like it. Something's got to be done here, all right? Now, fortunately, I saw Bruce Blakeman at the Thanksgiving Day, it seems so long ago, the St. Patrick's Day parade. And he looks like a total winner. He's got the fire in the belly. He looked amazing. I mean, the guy, I said, who is that guy? He looks like royalty. Who is he? And, sure enough, it's Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County Executive. I'm like, wow. And he was on message. He was disciplined. He was tight. Just in the best way. Hey, do me a favor, Jonas. Here is, do me a favor, Justin. This is Hochul with the preposterous idea that all the people she chased out of New York should come back to New York out of the goodness of their hearts. You know, rich people are rich for a reason, right? They're smart. One of the best ways you get rich is you don't just, April 15th, my taxes are due. How much money did I make last year? What's 40% of that? Here you go. No, they don't do it that way. They come up with tax shelters. They understand tax laws in other states and places like that, right? They figure it out. And they go to Florida for 6 months and a day. Florida for 6 months and a day, and then they don't have to pay here, New York State tax. It is a smart move. Here we go with Kathy Hochul. She still can't believe she's governor, right?
And being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state.
That's your problem.
Right. Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see what you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states.
Stop!
Who have.
She almost said it. We are incompetent in competition. We are incompetent. I think that's what she meant to say. We're in competition with that. Patriotic. Be patriotic. Patriotic what? Patriotic New Yorkers? Patriotic chumps? I have no real, I like New York. I love New York, right? Kind of. Less so, quite frankly. Where patriotism applies nationally, right? You're patriotic to your state. Come here and pay for the generous social programs. How about the unnecessary waste, fraud, and abuse, right? That's happening everywhere. How about that dopey stadium that you arranged for your husband? She arranged for a stadium so her husband could provide the concessions. It's true. It's unbelievable. They get away with it? I don't think so. What's his name? I love our EPA administrator. But he doesn't have much in the way of charisma, right? He's good, but he's, he almost beat her last time around. Lee Zeldin. Blakeman's got it all going on. And Nassau County is bigger than about 10 states in terms of revenue, in terms of people. Continue with the totally delusional governor.
Less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay. We saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall Street, businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this. But we can fund what we want to fund with what we already are taking in.
Well, that's known as full panic mode. Okay. She is, this is not what you say when you're a responsible or skilled politician. She is a wreck, and she is showing who she is. Somebody's wife, right? That's what she was for most of her life. Justin, one more. This is a little bit longer. Somebody's wife, a clerk, and a one-term member of Congress who managed to not get reelected. Like 1%. It's a very hard thing to do to not get reelected. Although Dan Crenshaw, how about Dan Crenshaw? It's kind of interesting. Navy SEAL, war hero, and all that stuff. I'm sorry, we can respect your service, but we're not going to vote you in. And that brings me to our other guy. What's his name? Arthur Kent? Joe Kent. Joe Kent. Dangerous man. And a silly man, to be honest. Very silly. I'll wait until the next hour. Here we go. She goes into a bit more detail here about her financial plan, which is to panic a little bit and shame people. Pick it up.
I know New Yorkers are exasperated. They feel that everything's stacked against them. They're not getting ahead. Their rents are too damn high. Their child care costs are high. Their utility bills, and thank you to Washington, we're going to have higher prices at the pump. We already do. Everything just seems so hard for people. So I understand that frustration. You should join me in the North Country yesterday in Ogdensburg and Watertown, and people are so upset about the tariffs, raising the cost of everything. So there is this anxiety, which is real, and we're continuing to address the affordability crisis, which I believe should be the number one priority of this legislative session. What can we do to take off some of that pain that New Yorkers are feeling that I hear about literally every day? What I want to make sure we are smart about is having a system in place where it's not just taxing for the sake of taxing, and being conscious of the fact that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals. And I would say remote work changed everything. There were people who could only work in an office in Manhattan or work in New York State, and they were captives to our state. They were going to stay. We saw that that's not the case. I mean, Wall Street, businesses looking at Texas, they're not going there because they have a nicer governor. I know that for sure. But they're going there because of the tax rate. We have to be smart about this. But we can fund what we want to fund with what we already are taking in.
Well, it really is something to behold, isn't it? Just like there it is. Pay us because it would be nice. It would be nice if you came back and paid us for these programs that we can't afford. DEI is actually very, very expensive. LGBTQ plus IA outreach is very, very expensive and unnecessary. The rest, it all comes with a price tag. It's really something. All right, so she is going to lose. I've never been more optimistic. Bruce Blakeman, I'm not saying you should measure the drapes, but I hope your wife is. Okay? You're going to be the next governor. You got to work your ass off. You can't take it easy, but this could happen. This is a winnable race. This is a super duper winnable race. You can't talk like that on that stage in public and get away with it. The people are on to you, Kathy. And the pressure is getting to you as well. All right. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. Coming up, Iraq, Iran, us, the war, Hegseth, Rumsfeld, Kent, Joe Kent, the first Iraq war, Bin Laden, Venezuela, Canada, how it's all coming together. They all interlock. And maybe even the assassination of Charlie Kirk, my friend. We'll be right back.